Welcome to our little training video on the Reality GenTX game. I'm going to give you a little bit of an explanation of how to play and what the reason for the game is. The purpose of this game is to give your students the opportunity to kind of look at their preferred cost of living. What are the things that they want to be able to do in life? And then we're going to give them a career and a college experience, and they're going to compare those two things and see whether or not realistically they could live in that cost of living. So the great thing about this game is that all of the materials that you need for the game are in the box. You don't have to create anything, you don't have to reproduce anything. One of the main components of the game is this payday sheet. And so for the 32-ish students that you're going to be using, this game will work for up to 32 students, you will give them this payday sheet, and they're going to carry that around and they're going to write down all of their costs. Now, the costs are going to be set up at different stations. And you see here that I have the station for transportation. Now, all that you need to man the transportation station is to have, either a parent volunteer or a community college student volunteer that you can bring along to go to the station, and they're going to have, in your manual, there are some sheets that cover the cost for each station. Now, prior to adding some variables, the great part about this is you're going to try to sell the students on the more expensive cost of living. It's totally okay to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, you don't want to ride around on a bicycle. You want that, you want the Camaro. You really want the Camaro. Who wants to drive around in an El Camino? So you get the people that are working the stations to sell the kids on the more expensive cost of living so that you have some options for them to learn once they get their careers. Now I'm going to set these right here, and we're going to look at some of the other components. Now, I told you that the game will work for about 32 students. That's because you're limited with the number of career cards that you have in the game. So I'm just going to show you here really quickly. You have these Reality GenTX paycheck information cards, and it includes information about their occupation, their marital status, the degree of education that they got, and how much money they're going to get across the year, how much taxes they're going to have to pay, and also their monthly paycheck. So the students are going to get this information once they have completed some of the other stations. So you want to leave one particular station closed for about 15 minutes just to kind of let them mull around and start making some of these decisions that they're going to have to learn from. After the game's gone on for about 15 minutes, you open up the college station. And once again, it's going to have one of these little boards here, and you're going to have a staff member there. They're going to be the ones that hand out the paycheck cards. And periodically, they're going to hand out another card. You don't have to hand these to every student, but we have some cards called Paying for College. And they'll include some random good or bad things, like, for example, this one says, your essay wowed the scholarship committee. You receive a 4-year scholarship. So that's going to cut back on their costs, and that's going to give them money that they can spend in other places. Once they get their paycheck information and they see how much they're going to spend, they're going to have to go back to the payday sheet, and they're going to have to make some adjustments, because if you sold them on the most expensive car and a really nice house and some of the other luxury items, if they only make, for example, if they're a photographer, they only get $1,594 a month. Not necessarily going to be enough to live high on the horse. So the payday sheet includes a second column where they can go in and they can write their adjusted cost of living. So they can go back through the stations and they can make better decisions, more informed decisions based on where they're living. Now, like I said, this game takes about 45 minutes. And honestly, all you do is just set up your little stations, have the kids rotate, give them about 2 or 3 minutes for each station. The college station might take the longest because they're going to have to write a little bit more information on their sheet. And then after that, you're done. Except for one little thing that we'd like you to do for us. Because we are your counsel for this particular type of activity, we'd like to collect a little bit of data from you. So when you finish one of these activities, within about a week or two after you finish them, we would appreciate if you could contact us and give us a little information. We would like the date of the event, the school or agency name, the number of participants that were there, and brief remarks about the students' comments and experiences. Now, what that would involve is if you could have one of your volunteers walking around and getting some comments from the kids, interview them, what do they think, what have they learned. We'd love to be able to gather that data and report that back to the state. And once again, all of this is anonymous, so no private information is being shared. That's it. This is a very simple game, but I think it's a very powerful game that sends a really good message to our kids, and we thank all of you as counselors for providing this activity to your students. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us here at the Ingenuity Center of the University of Texas at Tyler. Thank you.